Hey everybody, it's Ron from Pick Dawgz, and this is Ron's Rundown. We're going to go over the MLB games scheduled for Saturday, July 22nd, 2023. Now, if you like what you see, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to put your baseball picks in the comments section below. And if you're looking for my best bets, including my $19 rundown best bet, you can find those at the premium picks tab at pickdawgz.com. Alrighty, let's get into it. Here are the games for Saturday in Major League Baseball. First up, it's the Colorado Rockies taking on the Miami Marlins. We're going to see Chase Anderson and Johnny Cueto on the mound in this one. Not my favorite game on the board, but I guess I would lean towards the Marlins on the money line. Johnny Cueto struggled in his first appearance as a Miami Marlin. Pitched pretty well the second time out, 3 innings, only 1 base hit, no earned runs. Chase Anderson has really struggled after a good start to the year. Now he is 0-4 with a pretty steep ERA. I think the Marlins will be able to get to him. I also think the Marlins have the much better bullpen. So if this is a close game late, I definitely give the advantage to Miami. So just a lean here with the Marlins on the money line in this one. Next up, it's the St. Louis Cardinals taking on the Chicago Cubs with Miles Mikolas and Michael Fulmer on the mound. More of a bullpen game for Chicago as Fulmer's more of an opener. The Cubs bullpen in the last 30 days, a pretty good ERA, but not the best expected numbers. I do think Miles Mikolas is the better option on the other side for St. Louis. He's pitching well last 3 outings, only 3 earned runs combined. So in the month of July so far, 22 1/3 innings, a 2.82 ERA. He already pitched at Wrigley Field once against the Cubs this season. It was a successful outing, 4 1/3 innings, only 1 run, 7 strikeouts, and a 3-1 Cardinals win. I like St. Louis in this game on the money line at Wrigley Field. Next up, it's the Arizona Diamondbacks taking on the Cincinnati Reds. No official starter for Arizona right now, but we should see Brandon Williamson going for the Reds. Got to give credit to Brandon Williamson. He's been pitching pretty well as of late. Another quality outing in his last start against the Giants, 6 innings, 2 runs. The Reds were not able to back him up offensively in that game. They wanted to lose that one 4-2 in extras. But I still think Williamson has a pretty good matchup here, facing a Diamondbacks team that in the last 30 days and pretty much overall this season has not hit lefties very well. In the last 30, they're 26th in isolated power, 26th in team OPS. They have a pretty good walk rate and strikeout rate's pretty low, but I just don't love this matchup here for Arizona. And there's some uncertainties with who they're going to be going with on the mound. Could be a bullpen game for the Diamondbacks. The bullpen's been okay in the last month, but right now I'd lean towards Cincinnati on the money line at Great American Ballpark. Next up, it's the Kansas City Royals taking on the New York Yankees. Brady Singer and Garrett Cole are your starters. Brady Singer not really in the best of form going into this start. He's facing a Yankees team that has struggled offensively, but I just can't get there with the Royals in this game because I don't think that Singer's going to get the run support necessary for a win or a run line cover. Singer's last 2 starts, 13 innings of work against the Rays and the Guardians. He gave up 20 base hits in those 2 outings with 10 earned runs and 2 home runs. Really, the big concern for me is he's not really striking out a lot of batters. I would consider Singer more of a strikeout-dependent starter. Although he's been pitching deeper into ball games and been more efficient on the mound, I don't really trust him in this spot on the road where he has struggled this year at 7.54 ERA at a very hitter-friendly ballpark in Yankee Stadium. And this side, Garrett Cole, he's been a great starting pitcher this year for the Yanks, 2.78 ERA, solid numbers at Yankee Stadium. He's in good form. His last start at Colorado against the Rockies in Coors Field, 6 innings, only 2 base hits, only 1 run, and 11 strikeouts in that game. The Yankees have not been able to back him up offensively recently, but I do think they will be able to here against Singer and the Royals bullpen. So give me the New York Yankees on the run line at Yankee Stadium. Next up, it's the Los Angeles Dodgers taking on the Texas Rangers. Dane Dunning and Bobby Miller are your starters. Now, I think both of these teams, when you look at their numbers offensively, obviously crushing right-handed pitchers. The Dodgers a little bit better numbers. They're number 2 behind the Braves in both OPS and isolated power. Rangers right around 5th in both OPS and isolated power. But I do think Bobby Miller, believe it or not, when you look at these ERAs, you'd think Dane Dunning is a superior starting pitcher. But I like Bobby Miller more in this matchup. Dane Dunning's got that 2.82 ERA, but a 4.72 expected ERA and a 4.64 xFIP. He's had the lowest strikeout numbers of his career this season with a 5.73 Ks per 9. He's been efficient on the mound. He's been able to give the Rangers some good innings, but his ERAs in the last couple of months are higher than his season average. So, we do see some regression in his game. He's given up at least 1 home run in 3 of his last 4 starts. I am a little bit concerned with that, going against this, one of the tougher lineups in baseball right now. Bobby Miller has been striking out more batters. He's been good on the road with a 3-0 record, a 2.11 ERA. His last start against the Mets, 4 2/3, only 1 run with 5 strikeouts. He's only given up 2 home runs his last 3 starts combined, which is a step in the right direction because we know he had some issues with the home run ball in prior starts. So I think Miller is in good form. I think he's the better starting pitcher here. Both of these bullpens have been solid in the last 30 days, but I'm going to take the Los Angeles Dodgers on the money line here. Next up, we see the Baltimore Orioles taking on the Tampa Bay Rays. Grayson Rodriguez and Shane McClanahan are your starters. For me, this game's just based on value. I think that Grayson Rodriguez in himself is undervalued right now. I think the Rays may be a little bit overvalued with this kind of price in this game. I really like Shane McClanahan as a starting pitcher, and at Tropicana Field, he's been excellent with a 5-0 record and a 1.89 ERA. But the Orioles' numbers against lefties are improving in the last couple of weeks or so. We know this team has not been great against lefties overall in 2023, but in the last 30 days, their numbers right around league average with a high walk rate of 11.1% to go with it. So I actually like this matchup for Baltimore against Shane McClanahan. And Grayson Rodriguez, he pitched well against these Rays earlier in the season, got the win, or the Orioles went on to win that game 4-2, the final score. The Orioles have been very competitive in this season series and in this series in Tropicana Field. Rodriguez has got that 7.33 ERA, but I think he's much better than that. He has a 3.87 xFIP. I think we're going to see a lot of positive regression in his game going forward. There's a reason why he's one of the more highly touted pitching prospects in baseball right now. I like the Baltimore Orioles here on the money line and the run line, getting those 1.5 runs in this one. Next up, we see the San Diego Padres taking on the Detroit Tigers with Matt Manning going for Detroit. No official starter for the Padres right now. In 2022, Matt Manning in 39 and a third innings had a 2.52 ERA at Comerica Park. So far this year, he's only had 1 outing, but it was a really strong outing. 6 2/3, 5 strikeouts, no earned runs, no hits in a Tigers win. I'm willing to back Detroit in this spot with Manning on the mound. The Padres could be going with the bullpen game here. This bullpen's not been very good in the last month or so. They've got a 5.67 ERA, a 4.66 SIERA is the 4th highest in baseball. A 5.1 xFIP is also not great. So give me the Detroit Tigers here on the money line at Comerica. Next up, we see the New York Mets taking on the Boston Red Sox with Max Scherzer and James Paxton on the mound. Max Scherzer had a really nice bounce-back outing in his last start against Los Angeles Dodgers. 7 innings, shutout balls, 6 strikeouts, and a 2-1 Mets win. But that was at Citi Field, and Max Scherzer just hasn't been great on the road this year. A 4.92 ERA on the road. And you look at his last 2 road starts against the Diamondbacks and the Padres. 11 innings, 9 earned runs, and 5 home runs in those 2 games. I can't really trust him here, and I also don't think the Mets offense does much to back him up. James Paxton is a solid lefty. He's pitched well at Fenway Park this year. The Mets have struggled against lefties in 2023 and in the last 30 days. And then you got the Mets bullpen, who've been one of the worst bullpens in baseball in the last month when you look at the ERA and the expected numbers like SIERA. So give me the Boston Red Sox here at Fenway Park on the money line. Next up, it's the Toronto Blue Jays taking on the Seattle Mariners. Kevin Gausman and Logan Gilbert are your starters. I'm honestly a little surprised to see the Blue Jays as favorites in this game right now. That line could move, but I'm surprised. Even though Kevin Gausman is a good starting pitcher and the Blue Jays are a good team in general, I still think not a lot of respect here for Seattle, who's got Logan Gilbert on the mound. They played good baseball at T-Mobile Park. Gilbert, his last 5 starts, the Mariners are 4-1 in those games, and only one of those starts he gave up more than 2 earned runs. So, I don't really understand the line here. Kevin Gausman hasn't been unhittable on the road this year. A 5-4 record, 3.51 ERA. The Blue Jays are 0-3 in his last 3 starts. His last game was against the Detroit Tigers of all teams. So give me the Seattle Mariners here. I'm getting plus money right now. I'll take that all day long. Next up, we see the Atlanta Braves taking on the Milwaukee Brewers with Adrian Hauser going for Milwaukee. No official starter for the Braves right now. Now, Adrian Hauser's got a 3.79 ERA. His expected numbers aren't great. He's not really my favorite type of starting pitcher. Doesn't really miss a lot of bats. Only 39 strikeouts in 57 innings of work. And that's also a concern when you're facing this Atlanta Braves lineup that has just crushed righties this season and in the last 30 days, where they're number 1 by far in OPS and isolated power. But they also have a very low strikeout rate, which you don't see very often with very powerful teams like the Braves, who lead the league in home runs by far as a team. So, I do think Hauser could be in trouble here. I see the improvements that the Brewers bullpen has made in the last 30 days or so. I just don't think it's enough in this one. So I lean towards the over and the Braves on the money line in this one. Next up, we see the San Francisco Giants taking on the Washington Nationals. Logan Webb and Josiah Gray are your starters. Now, I know Josiah Gray has not pitched very well at Nationals Park this season. He's got that ERA above 5 at home this year. But the San Francisco Giants offensively just have not been very good lately against lefties, against righties. When you look at the numbers against right-handed pitchers in the last month, San Francisco isolated power ranked 27th in baseball, only better than the Pirates, Royals, and Yankees. In team OPS, San Francisco is 25th in the league. They have a steep strikeout rate of 26%. So, for me, Logan Webb has not been great on the road this year. Been much better at Oracle Park, similar to a guy like Alex Cobb. Webb's got a 4.08 ERA on the road. I think Washington can get to him for a few runs early. I don't love this Nationals bullpen, so I'll take the Nationals in the first 5 innings, but I'd sprinkle a little bit on the Nationals full game money line as well. Next up, we see the Philadelphia Phillies taking on the Cleveland Guardians. Zach Wheeler and Tanner Bybee are your starters. For me, in my opinion, I think the Guardians are a nightmare matchup for Zach Wheeler, who, the Phillies have won his last 7 starts, but he himself has not been great in those games. I mean, the month of July so far, 18 innings of 5 ERA. Before that, against the Mets in the final start of June, 5 1/3, 5 earned runs. He's given up 6 or more base hits in 4 of his last 5 starts. And, he's been able to miss a lot of bats and earn those strikeouts, but you're facing a Guardians lineup that is the lowest strikeout rate in baseball against righties in the last month at 16.7%. They're also 8th in baseball against righties in team OPS in the last 30 days. So I think Wheeler could be in trouble in this game. I think Bybee's going to pitch pretty well. A 2.31 ERA at Progressive Field this season, a 3-1 record there. 39 innings at home with 39 strikeouts and only 1 home run allowed. The Phillies have been, so-so against righties in the last month. The Phillies have a good bullpen, but I don't like the starting pitching matchup at all for them. Give me the Cleveland Guardians here on the money line. Next up, we see the Chicago White Sox taking on the Minnesota Twins with Dylan Cease and Sonny Gray as your starters. I think the total set too low in this game. I mean, Dylan Cease, he is a power pitcher that's going to earn a lot of strikeouts, and against a team like the Twins should be able to earn some strikeouts here, but he also has some issues with the long ball and sharp contact in general. His control is also a little bit of a problem. We saw Cease pitch against the Twins at the beginning of the season on April 10th. It was a good outing, 5 innings, only 1 earned run. The next time he faced the Twins, though, 5 innings, 4 earned runs, a home run, 4 walks, and a high-scoring game. I worry about that going into this start on the road. And Sonny Gray, we've seen him regress as of late. I mean, in his last 2 starts against the Orioles and the Mariners, 11 earned runs in 11 2/3 innings with 11 base hits and 7 walks to go with it. The White Sox have been pretty competitive against right-handed pitchers as of late, the last week or so, against the Mets and the Braves. So I like their chances here against Sonny Gray. I think we're going to see a high-scoring affair. Give me the over here in Chicago, Minnesota. Next up, we see the Houston Astros taking on the Oakland Athletics. Christian Javier and Paul Blackburn are your starters. Got to be one of my least favorite games on the board in this game. I just don't see a lot of value. I don't see really anywhere to go in this one. I mean, Christian Javier really took a big step in the right direction with his last start against the Angels. 5 innings, 3 runs, 7 strikeouts. The 7 strikeouts is the more promising sign for me because I think Javier is a strikeout-dependent starter. We saw his strikeout numbers going down quite a bit in the previous 4 outings. So to see him miss those bats and earn those 7 Ks, I think he's going to pitch pretty well in this spot. It's a much easier matchup for him, rather than the Angels, Rangers, Cardinals, Mets, teams like that he was facing before. Now you're facing the Oakland A's, who have been one of the worst lineups all year in the American League. And in the last 30 days, they're 22nd in isolated power against righties and 26th in team OPS. I think we're going to see, the A's not do much offensively. The question is, can Paul Blackburn be decent enough to keep this game under the total? I think he can. Like I said, I don't really want to lay negative odds with the Astros on the run line or on the money line. So for me, I'll lean to the under in this game, maybe the under in the first 5 as well, between Houston and Oakland. And the final game for Saturday's card in Major League Baseball, it's going to be the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Los Angeles Angels. Osvaldo Bido and Reed Detmers are your projected starters, and I am willing to lay the run line here with the Angels in this one, laying those 1.5 runs. Reed Detmers, I think this is the easiest spot he's had in quite a while. He faced the Dodgers twice within less than a month. He faced the Astros, who have hit lefties very well. He faced the Diamondbacks. Now you're facing the Pittsburgh Pirates. In the last 30 days, this Pittsburgh team has struggled against lefties, against righties. Against lefties, they're 28th in the league in team OPS. They're 29th in isolated power, and they have the highest strikeout rate in baseball at 31.7% against lefties. That's the highest by about 4 percentage points. The next team is St. Louis Cardinals at 27.8%. So this Pirates team has struggled mightily against lefties. You got Osvaldo Bido on the mound, who has struggled mightily on the mound with a 5.00 ERA and a 5.23 xFIP. Give me the Los Angeles Angels here on the run line, land those 1.5 runs to end the night. And that's it. Those are the games for Saturday in Major League Baseball. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. And don't forget to put your baseball picks in the comments section below. Again, if you're looking for my best bets, you can find those at Pick Dawgz Premium. As always, this is Ron Romanelli. Good luck.